Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. This is Eddie Gray. We are back at it again, covering the Logic User Guide. This is Chapter 20. Believe it or not, we are on page 761. And today we are covering Logic Pro Music Notation. Now, I want to give you a little bit of context before we get into this. As some of you may know, I have been working on this program for 7 years, dedicating my time, energy, resources to really getting the most of the program, and not just learning for the sake of learning, but learning as a means to an end. And so with that said, I need you to understand something. I don't have a classical music background. I always loved classical music. As a teenager, as a high school kid, was probably the only one, in fact, but I did not have that kind of training. So the way I want you to look and think about this session is, if this is the first time that you're entering this space, perhaps you've been intimidated and now you're ready to dive in a little bit deeper, then we're going to do this together. This is actually my first time working within the score notation within Logic Pro. Now, I do have one caveat. I took a couple of courses. This is like post-college and all that stuff, because I did want to start orienting myself with scoring. As a composer, you want to make sure that you're on the up and up, and so I did take a couple of classes, and I got fairly acquainted with programs like Sibelius. So although I have some information, I don't have all of the information. And while I could have skipped this chapter, I thought, wouldn't it be great if we provide something like this for others who are new and perhaps are scared of this part of the software? And so, always with a good intention, our aim is to get better and to be able to look at the program with clarity, if at the very least, so that we can communicate with others with efficacy and clarity. All right. So let's get right into it. I do want to show you one thing. In order to make most of the score editor, please enable it inside of your preferences at the advanced icon here. And just go ahead and enable score. I usually have this off, and I usually have surround off because I don't work in surround and I don't usually use the score editor. But in today's session, we are going to be using it. Key Command N opens it up. All right, let's do our best here to navigate this section of the program. You can view MIDI regions in software instrument and external MIDI instrument tracks as music notation. Notes and other musical events are displayed as standard notation, along with common symbols such as time, key signature, bar lines, clef, signs. You can add and edit notes, add sustain pedal markings, and other symbols. You can also print the score. Score Editor provides visual quantization, so you can control the display of note values without altering the timing of your recordings, and change the displayed musical key without altering the playback of your MIDI recordings. All right, so as stated, go ahead and enable it within Advanced Tools. This will enable us to view and edit multiple tracks in a score. And there's different ways to view that. Add notes and symbols from the part box. This includes dynamics, phrase markings, other symbols. Add lyrics and other texts. Use additional tools as needed. Edit region parameters within the region inspector to control how regions appear in the score. And finally, use staff styles to control display of rest, stems, ties, and beams. So this is really just another system. You shouldn't get intimidated. If you need to learn it for whatever reason, perhaps school is making you, or you want to just start doing some string arranging, or you want to better understand and work with collaborators, do not get intimidated. Just break it down piece by piece, and you will get there. Create and edit chord grids for guitar or other instruments. That in and of itself is pretty cool if you want to create some chord charts or lead sheets. Okay, so all of this looks pretty good thus far. Let's continue. The score editor can display a single MIDI region or software instrument track in the score editor. Each track appears as a separate staff. So we can display a single MIDI region or a software instrument track, which is kind of the same thing. In the score editor, each track appears as a separate staff. So each track is going to be kind of on a separate staff here. So this would be one track, another, I suppose. Let's actually see what it looks like in application. Notes, rests, other musical events, and the MIDI regions on the track are displayed in standard musical notation. Okay. So let's look at the GUI. We do have another inspector. We have the region inspector, which we're used to. Looks a little bit different inside of the score editor. We now have the event inspector. Okay, we have a part box. It looks like we're delineating all of the various articulations. And then here are the note values. And then all of the usual suspects up here in the menu bar, the local menu bar. Right, here's MIDI out, here's automation, link, catch, the primary, secondary tool, and then the horizontal zoom slider. The score editor menu bar includes layout, edit, functions, and view pop-up menus. Good, as I said, we know all this stuff already. Got the score inspector, which would include the region, event, part box, which selects notes and other symbols to add to the score. The inspector channel strips, which controls all things volume, panning, and other mixing functions. So down here, you can't see it, but you should have the left and right channel strip inspector. I guess I could show you here. So here's the part box. Here's the event inspector, region inspector, and then the left channel strip and the right channel strip inspector. All right. While we're at it here, let's see what we're working with today. Let's see what we put together. This was from the last session, if you guys might have remembered. All right, pretty cool. Something that we put together here just a second ago. All right, so open the score editor, key command N. You can double click a MIDI region. You can also use this icon at the top left. Now remember, this is going to be inside of the editor. So there are a couple of editors in here now. We have the piano roll editor, the score editor, which we're working in now. We have Smart Tempo, which has its own patented AI technology, which is different than flex time. And so then now we have the score editor. Okay. All right, let's keep going here. So we can open this as a separate window by hitting Command 5. So if you have a secondary screen or you just want a little bit more screen real estate. Let's keep going. Show, or let me see, press and hold option and double click the piano roll. And that will also do, can you do that with piano roll? I didn't know you could do, oh, that's a sweet function. Wow. Always something, guys. It's amazing. Show or hide the local inspector. So I guess under, what would that be? View. Show the local inspector. Shift Command I. There's some more information here that we can access. Shift Command I. Is that not right? Shift Option I. Awesome. And then we can also show region header. Cool. Following MIDI regions are not displayed in the score editor. Muted MIDI regions. Okay, that's important. If hide muted regions is selected in file, project setting, score global, MIDI regions on muted tracks for which the score parameter is turned off in the region inspector. So let's go to file, project settings, score global. File, project settings, score, wait. Score. Then what was that setting again? There's so much stuff in there. Score global. Okay, I believe it's there. And then what are we supposed to enable? Muted if hide muted regions is selected. So let's see. Do we see that here somewhere? Hide muted regions. So if you have this selected, we will not see the regions within the score editor. Although I am seeing them here, they're just muted. Or dimmed out, should I say. Actually, no, they're right there. These are other MIDI events. Yeah, so it is here. So I wonder if there's a disconnect going on here. But global shouldn't be hiding it. Not sure why it's not. Maybe, nope. I just muted the track. I just turned it off. This seems to be false. If you see something else on your end, please advise. I'm going to take this out. All right, 764. View tracks is music notation. Score editor displays MIDI regions on software instruments. I thought we said that already. Including notes, rest, gotcha. Let me see. Gaps between regions are filled in to display a continuous staff. If the track contains software instruments, Apple loops, notation is displayed for each loop iteration, but only the original region of the loop can be edited. Not sure what that means. Let me better understand them. If I drag into this loop here, okay, so it's showing me the information in real time. So that makes sense. But what was their second point? But only the original region of the loop can be edited. I'm not sure if that means, I would doubt that only this one can be edited. For example, if I then delete that one, I don't know, let's make some changes here. And I've never done that before, but no. So yeah, not clear on what that means. Don't have any context, so it's kind of a strange sentence. Only the original region of the loop can be edited. Yeah, we're going to cross that out. I'm not saying it's wrong. I just don't have enough information at this point. The score editor has 3 views. Okay, so this is important. Linear, wrapped, and page. So how do we access these views? Linear, wrapped, and page. It's kind of cool. And Control P is page. This is kind of nice. Is it showing me? Yeah, it's showing me both because track number 2 are the strings. So here's the piano up on top, and then here are the strings. Let's see this play out in page view. Okay, so let's go back a little bit. Cool. All right. It's all coming together. So we have different views. Why choose one over the other? Well, let's see. This one's just going to show you a single software instrument. So if you're obviously editing or working on something, you're going to want to be here. This would be called the standard. Wrapped view shows one or more tracks. So perhaps if you're trying to get parts to work together, this may be a good view. What about page? Shows the full score on facing pages. You can work on the score layout and print the full score in page view. So I would say this is kind of like more post-production. This is kind of during the composition, the piece, and then this is more just like really getting ideas on paper. You can also move through display levels. Because the score editor displays the contents of MIDI regions, any MIDI notes located outside of a region are not displayed. Gotcha. All right, view a track in the score editor. So we either click a track header, and then we click score. Click a track header and choose view show editors. So we already talked about that. Looks like we can go into view. So right now I'm showing the editor, but I can also hide it. So again, you can double click, but then you're going to have to select the score editor here. If you want to change the view, you can hit these icons or the appropriate key command. I didn't realize that those were actually on the page. So that is, I believe, linear. Yeah. Here's wrapped, and then here's page. Wait, it's right here. Cool. All right, so this is making sense. Let's keep going. Yeah, and if you don't remember, you can't find the icons, just go to view mode, and that should get you there. All right, set the link mode. So link mode to the same level. So remember what this means is if you would like the screen to update accordingly. For example, I'm going to click on this region now. We want this to reflect that. Then you should have link on, this icon here. If you want to keep the piano there, then I would turn link off. And even if I'm making changes in other screens, this will stay put. So it just depends on what you're doing and what the purpose is. It looks like there's some more functionality. If you double click the link button, the link appears yellow. What is the difference there? Well, not sure. To set the link mode to the same level, and then to set the link mode to content. Okay, so there's a difference between purple and yellow, essentially. Let's see if we can decipher what it is since we're not given the information. It looks the same from this angle. I don't see anything changing. I'm sure there's something there, but hold on. What page does this go to? Because I don't want to change. You know what? Let's actually take a quick dive here, and then we'll come back. What page was this on? We covered this. What, page 98? It's been a while. Okay, so what is the difference between same level and content? So when you're on same level, the editor window always displays the same content as the window with key focus. That's what I just explained, but what is content? When selected, the editor always shows the content with key focus. Okay, but it looks like there's some other contingencies. So let's see, with same level, if the score editor has key focus in same level link mode, the event displays the same data as the score editor. Okay. All right, what about here? For example, if the tracks area is active and any open MIDI editor shows the events of a selected MIDI region, you can also use content link mode in one tracks area to display the folder contents. Okay, so they do something different. Just not sure what that is, I gotta be honest. So I will work on that off screen. I remember with the event list editor, we hacked it at the time, but yeah, I'm not, maybe, you know what? I would assume that this actually, yep, I'm assuming that they're tied, but they didn't say that, but that's just based on the information that I'm kind of reading here. It's probably that, I think, let's see, to show single, where were we? Hold on. Same level, which is purple, is just the basic information. For example, if I click on that note there, you can see the information in the event editor, and yet if I click on, if I double click rather, and I think it changes something that happens in here, like perhaps the layer which it's looking at the information, but again, not entirely sure. I think that's good for now. Okay, so for now, it's not as important, right? We're just kind of moving along. We understand what that means. Most of us are not even going to change that to begin with. So let's keep it going. I'll take a screenshot to remind me later. Move through score display levels to show a single track. Double click the staff of that track or select the track in the tracks area to move the next higher display level. Okay, so this is what I'm talking about. Display levels in the score editor menu bar. Okay, so let's click here. Looks like there's some kind of, let's see if I click here. Oh, okay. Okay. And I believe that that's what this is tied to. I'm not going to play with this now, but if I double click here, I can even click one time over. I can access, in this case, the piano. Okay, good. Let me hit Command C. Okay. Yep. I'm starting to see it. So again, here is the top level. It's showing me the score. When I click on, I believe it was it the clef or was it, I double click something right now. Yeah. Here, I'm able now to access the piano, right? So this is on same level. If I go to this guy, good. Wait. Okay. So there's some kind of workflow there. I'm just not catching it, but I'm telling you it's there. It has something to do with a link rather. And so yeah, you can work on that. So this is the top level, and then let's say I want to look at the strings. Now I double clicked that, and so we're back inside of the strings. You know, let me rename them just so it's not confusing. So I believe it's a T Shift T for me, and I'll name these strings. Okay, so that's helpful because a second ago it read default piano there, so that was a little confusing. All right, so if we double click the background of the score editor, looks like we see everything, right? We see everything that's currently going on. Move to the next higher display level. We can use that button that we saw on the top left. All right, when viewing the score in linear view, the following control appears in the score editor inspector to the left. All right, so this is our classic inspector that we're used to using. So if you want to apply quantization or play with velocity, what was that? Shift Option I. And so then if I hit Command A, or maybe let's say I select these two notes, I can increase their velocity if I wanted to. I'm not going to do that, but it's obviously not the same as this view, because here we would see some kind of visual indication that it's getting hotter by way of velocity or sampling, but we don't see that here, right? If I lift up velocity, this is probably why it's good practice to use the event list editor in conjunction, because we're not going to see the same information. Like, of course, with MIDI, if we hover over the MIDI note, we see the pitch note and the velocity value, which is really, really pertinent and important when you don't know music kind of by memory, right? Like this, you really have to have a grasp on this information. So again, the aim here is not to become some aficionado. If that's you, that's great. But I'm looking to serve individuals that have been working in the piano role, that understand it, and are now, if not trying to transition, just better understand the score editor for many reasons, just for self-confidence, just to better understand the program as a whole, so you can become a better instructor, better composer, whatever the case may be. All right, in addition, the grid pop-up menu appears in the score menu bar, so you can set the visual quantization of notes in the score editor. Okay, the grid pop-up menu appears in the score editor menu bar. Where's the grid pop-up menu? Hold on, let me click here. The grid pop-up menu. I wish they would have shown me a picture of that because I don't see it. And I'm not sure if they're talking about like Logic's grid, like the overall grid. The menu bar. Okay, so let's go to the menu bar then. Where is the grid? Yeah, need some more information for sure because it's just not getting enough here. All right, let's move on to importing MusicXML files to a Logic project. Okay, let's carry on here. MusicXML is an XML-based music notation file format supported by many notation and music OCR apps and some music production apps. MusicXML files contain MIDI data as well as additional notation data that is mapped to Logic Pro notation features, including score symbols, staff styles, and more. So I would imagine if you are using a program like Sibelius or what have you, you can import that information over to Logic or perhaps vice versa. We shall see. You can import this kind of file to a new or existing project, play the resulting regions in the project, and view the regions as music notation. When you do import it, new tracks are created below any existing tracks in the tracks area with MIDI regions containing the context of the MusicXML file. Regions are added starting from the playhead position. The tracks instruments of, oh, wait a minute. So I guess depending on where you have your playhead set, you should probably think about that if you're going to import these kinds of files. The tracks instruments of the MusicXML file are assigned to tracks with the same name. The track instruments exist in the project. If no tracks instruments with the same name exist, a new software instrument track and channel strip are created. So that's pretty cool. If you do the work and name the tracks appropriately, when they do import, they will basically find a match. Import a music. Okay, so you go to import MusicXML. I don't have that with me right now, but it would go something like this. File, import, MusicXML. All right. Now let's position items graphically in the Logic Pro score editor. You can position items graphically to improve the readability of your score, creating space for a grace note, for example. There are 3 ways to position items. We can use the tool. Layout tool is used graphically to move events in the score editor in order to optimize the display without altering the timing. Okay. Is that this tool here? That looks like the pointer tool. Okay, they're calling it the layout tool. Using the event inspector, you can change the graphical position of the score editor and text by editing the vertical position and horizontal position parameters. Okay, so for example, let's say I wanted to change, I don't know, this here. We wanted to go, maybe here's the position, and then we can move these around. Like for example, I'll just move them there. So I move them somewhere, I'm not sure where, but let me hit Command Z. And then I guess we could change the note here. So let's say I drag this and go up. Okay, so let's listen to this. I just went 1 octave. Okay, Command Z, let's keep going. We can also use key commands. And I would assume that just is the same thing as the piano roll. So Option up arrow key. See, I'm going up by half steps. If I want to go up an octave, Shift Option. Yeah, same stuff. Let's keep going. Let's see. When you move symbol or text objects The bar position is retained. The horizontal position and vertical position parameters, however, are changed as indicated in the help tag during the process. So let's move something. Let's see. All right, so like I'll grab this one. All right, now they have all moved. If I click and hold, you can see the help tag. I can move them over to the right or the left. All right, let's keep going. Hold on, I think there's a... Did I miss something? You can only edit the horizontal positions, not its vertical position. Dragging the note to the right or left changes the display distance from adjacent notes. Hold on, what about this? The bar position determines playback timing, as this is the actual MIDI event position. Remember that the score editor is primarily designed for delivering notation, and that most but not all editing functions are graphical. All right, so this is actually important, right? It's saying, hey, this is a little bit more visual, right? You have some of the edit functions, but understand that most but not all editing functions are going to be graphical rather than physical. So you may not see some of the editing functions, such as velocity as mentioned. All right, position items using the event inspector. So number one, select the item or the items that you want to position graphically. Enter the value for the vertical position in the vertical position field. Again, I already showed you that here. I'll just do it one more time. Let me double click there and just type in bar 1, and that'll move those all the way over to bar 1. I'll Command Z that, Shift Command Z. Okay, let's go. Enter the value for the horizontal position. I don't see horizontal position. I'm just wondering if I'm supposed to be looking at the event editor, because they're saying, oh yeah, using the event inspector, but I don't see horizontal position field. I see vertical position. Yeah, it looks like maybe I need to view this differently. Maybe same level. The last thing I can think of is control clicking here in these columns and trying to look for this language. But yeah, I don't see that vertical or horizontal talk. So I mean, what I'm seeing is position and the actual note. So in this case, let's see, like I think, well, they're calling it number here. So yeah, I don't know if this needs to be updated or honestly what's going on here. But I probably wouldn't change it like that anyway. I'd probably do the work in here. But we all know that there's a lot of value with the event list editor and probably the most underutilized feature of the program. All right, move and copy items. Oh, wait, hold on. We know that we can nudge up by half steps. Looks like we can also horizontally nudge. I didn't know we can nudge. So let's pretend we wanted to move these over. I will hit Option right arrow key, and you can see I'm moving everything over accordingly. Cool. So nudge obviously comes from the toolbar and the value is set here. I like to have this set to key command so I could just change it at will. yeah, find your workflow and see what works for you. Okay. I'm starting to kind of understand what this is doing now. See, when I go view, I went same level, right? So I'm looking at the kind of the top folder right now, and it's not until I believe it's double click that I start seeing all of the, I believe it's called fader event and meta events or something, but basically all the automation and all the MIDI data here. So if I then change that to content, I believe, yeah, that you look at it no matter what. You're not in that top level anymore. And that may somehow coincide with this as well. Again, I'm still working out the kinks there. But good stuff. Let's keep going. Moving copy. Oh, wait, hold on. I think I missed something. To adjust the number of selected symbols to the same height, use the align object positions vertical key command. Oh, use the align object positions vertically. Yeah, I need some more info there. Moving copy items. I'm pretty sure we could do the same, copy C, copy V. Let's go to the piano here. Let's say I wanted to copy these over just for repetition's sake. Oh, that's cool. It's pretty nice. Check this out. That's cool. Why don't I do this? Nice. All right. I just option drag those, move items with key commands. Okay, nudge. Section of the key command window contains a group of key commands that can be used to move selected along the time axis. The nudge commands most useful for score work are those that nudge regions or events left or right. Okay, so let's see if this is true. So, yeah, so that's cool. I mean, rather than having to use the mouse, you can just nudge that over. I like it. Pretty smooth. Copy and paste items via the clipboard. What is that? Copy C, copy V, right? Like for example, if I need those, copy C, copy V here. Don't want them there. But if you want to preserve the unquantized timing, use another method to copy and paste the items. Don't use copy C, copy V. Otherwise, it's going to preserve the quantization timing. Move a note or symbol with a pointer. Just literally click and drag it over. So if you wanted to move this, right, if you don't want to hear that sound, just go ahead and disable that. Copy a note or symbol with the pointer. I thought we just did that. Yeah, we kind of did already. You can't use the option drag method. Really? I thought I just did. Hold on. Could be wrong, to be honest. Hold on. Option. Certainly just did that. Again, this is my first time touching this, so I don't know what used to work and what's new to this specific iteration. So I'm just going to assume that this is needs updating. Restricting movement. If we press and hold Shift, we can control the movement. But also, if you don't have this enabled already, I highly recommend that you do. Limit dragging to one direction. It makes life so much easier. One of the best decisions I've ever made inside of this program. You can see I have it selected here. We just literally just did this. Yeah, we just did this. Wild. Hold on, to move selected notes forward or backward with, okay, yeah, but that's just, hold on, wait. I want to make sure I'm not missing. To move the selected notes forward or backward one bar, use nudge region event position by left bar. Okay. So, depending on how you have this set up, you can you can nudge things, I think, with more efficiency if this is a big part of your workflow. Let me show you what I mean. I have setting the nudge value to bar. See, I have these already set, but this is more global. And then I use the key command option left, option right, which basically will nudge by the nudge value. But what they're suggesting here on this next section is that you actually use a specific value, like nudge right by beat or nudge right by bar or what have you. And you can set that up either on Logic Remote or on a separate key command or some kind of MIDI note on and off message. But this is going to make your workflow much cleaner if this is something that you're interested in. Again, we already talked about copying and pasting. This is referring to multiple. Looks like there's a paste multiple key command. I don't know, why can't we just take all of this and then just, that seems like it did it as well. So anyway, copy an entire musical passage to the same time position. Okay, this obviously would be interesting. And for those of us that are kind of just hacking the system, it'd probably be easier just to, like, for example, if we wanted to, I don't know, bring all this stuff over, it'd probably just be better to work with the MIDI at this point and then go back to the score editor if you wanted to, right? Let me Command Z this. All right, so we can use the paste at original position and paste multiple at original position to quickly copy passages from one MIDI region to another. No insert position is required. In fact, this is just a good thing to know in general. Like, let's say, also just side note, if you wanted to copy automation, you can copy C, and then you would think you could just, copy V. Sometimes that won't work. So if you ever get in a bind, you just would paste. You go to edit, paste at original position, and that should work pretty well. Okay, so what they're saying here, though, is we're going to select notes and symbols, select the staff that you want to. Okay, in this case, I should probably get another instrument or something. So let's do software. Let's pretend we're going to load some. I guess I'll just do brass for now. Let's do tubas, no trombones. That's gonna not work. Do I have a French horn somewhere? I'm not sure if those are the right sounds. I'll tell you what. Let me go to. All right, let's hope this works. So I'm in this track. Okay, and I'm gonna hit N. Let's see. No. I guess I'll create a MIDI region. Sorry, I'm trying to. Okay, here it goes. I wasn't able to see the actual track. Now I am. Okay, so let's click away. Where are? Okay. In fact, yeah, so I guess I would look at, I forgot this idea that, okay, we're looking at everything. There's some kind of view I'm missing. There's something, hold on, same level. And then, okay, that's good. And so we want to take the information from here and copy it over here. So I guess I'll come in here and hit Command A. I'm not even sure if that's selecting everything or not. Maybe I'll do this to be sure. Okay, and then what does it say? Select the notes and symbols, select the staff. I will copy C, copy. Okay. And then click on the other track, in this case, horns, edit, paste at original position. And everything should come out pretty well. Let's check it out. right, so that's cool. That's a nice workflow. Notes and symbols are pasted where they originally copied from, regardless of the current playhead position. Paste multiple works in a similar way, but allows you to paste a musical passage to the staffs of other instruments. So imagine you need to select all destination staffs before I'm using. Okay, that one, look into it. You can use these commands in combination with the select similar function to quickly copy all dynamic symbols from one staff into the other. Moving items in time is affected by the display quantization grid. If a hybrid quantized value is selected, the grid corresponds to the duple value. All right, cool. Let's see if there's anything else here. If no positions are not aligned with the time grid because they were recorded in real time, the relative offset is retained when they are moved or copied. Roger that. You can move or copy on quantized passages with the score editor without losing the original feel of the performance. All right, that's cool. That's important. All right, so these symbols will not be copied or moved in the score editor. Kind of chuckling because I wouldn't be surprised if you could, but let's check it out. Repeat signs, time and signature key changes, except in the, and then they clarify where you can change that. Symbols directly attached to notes such as accents, fermatas, note heads, and so on. Okay, let's do one more section and then we will call it for today. We're going to resize notes and symbols in the Logic Pro score editor. Looks like we'll be using the Resize tool. This is a new tool that we do not normally see. Looks like we have a camera tool. How about that? So let's grab the Resize and let's see what this does. Whoa. Did that just change the size of that? Wow. Never seen that before. And that's literally just a visual component. That's all it is. It's just changing the size. Resize a note or a score symbol. For example, like this rest. Can you do it with this? No. Nope. Just trying to see. What about this? Just trying to see if I could change anything else. What about that guy? No. That's cool. Obviously, this would make sense if you have a very large score, right? There's certain things you may not need to see. Move the pointer up or down. So first you need to grab it. So in this case, I'm just clicking one time, and then I'm resizing. It's not changing the sound. Does not affect MIDI playback, only the visual appearance. Okay. You can adjust the vertical headroom or the amount of blank space at the top of the score. It's going to be helpful when there are notes with ledger lines extending above the staff or chord symbols. So you want to place the pointer at the, so let me go back to the pointer, TT. You want to place the pointer at the top edge of the score display. Pointer changes to a pair of up and down, so basically like that, right? And then you would just hover up or down. Up or down. Okay, let's keep going. Drag up or down to adjust the vertical headroom. You can adjust the space above or below staffs in the staff style window. Repeat events. I would imagine it works the same. I have mine set to Command D. Yep. But normally it's Command R. That works the same. It's number 3. It says in repeat regions events, insert the number of copies to create. Choose bar from the adjustment pop-up menu, then click OK. Repeat regions events. Let's go here. Repeat. I think they meant multiple. Repeat. Yeah, because I don't see. Oh, edit repeat events. Hold on, edit. Repeat. Yeah, this needs to be updated because the language has changed. But they meant this window, the repeat regions cells events. I like to leave this on auto, but for some reason they recommended bar. But I do believe that needs to be updated. Insert items in multiple regions in the Logic Pro score editor. I think I will call it there. I think it's been a good session. Made a lot of progress thus far. The next time I see you, we're going to be inserting an item into multiple regions, editing multiple items all at the same time. It's a lot of the same stuff, so I hope you're feeling a little bit at ease, as this is not as challenging. I'm not saying that there is next level information. That's certainly not what I'm saying. All I'm saying is that you don't have to feel completely and utterly limited, that you can find your way. And that's why I decided to do this, just to give some people another angle and just perhaps a basic introduction into the world of notation. All right, thank you very much for watching. I'm your host, Eddie Gray, on behalf of the channel Resources for the Modern Creative and everyone over at hfmusicacademy.com. Wishing you the best, and I'll catch you tomorrow. Thank you. Cheers.